Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melony and you're watching akaMommy. And today I am going to be sharing with you my answers for the Homemaker tag. I was tagged by Michelle over at akaMommy Life. If you guys are not familiar with her channel, I will of course have it linked down below this video for you. You should hop over there and check it out. I love Michelle. She is such a sweet soul and I really think that you guys will enjoy her channel a lot too. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get right into these questions. Okay, so I have the questions here on my phone. I'm just going to read them off. It says, growing up, did you want to become a homemaker? If not, what did you see yourself doing? So I don't know if I've answered this on my channel or not before, but when I was growing up, I had absolutely zero intention. Should probably silence that. Zero intention of ever becoming a homemaker. My mom was a working mom out of necessity, and so I just kind of assumed that I would be a working mom as well. I always knew that I wanted to be a mother, but it never crossed my mind that I would be a stay-at-home mom or that I might homeschool my kids. I always assumed that I would work. And when I was in kindergarten and all the way up until I reached high school, I always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. So that's what my plan was. And then I got into high school and I started just kind of learning about the different options that are available to you as an adult, and I decided to go into business management. And so when I went to college, I actually studied business management and not teaching. However, I don't think that there's any real big coincidence that now I'm a homeschooling mom. I'm essentially a teacher. So the second question says, what did your husband think about you wanting to be a homemaker? So when my husband and I met, I was working full-time, and that was kind of just the plan. However, literally like 5 months after we got engaged, I just really felt like I heard a call from God that told me he wanted me to stay home with our kids and be a homeschooling mom. And I have discussed on my channel before that at first I really resisted that idea because I didn't really know any homeschooling families. I thought they were all kind of weirdos and cuckoo because I didn't know any. I didn't know a lot about it. But I did know that at the time the homeschooling movement was starting to pick up momentum. And I also at the time had a really good job, a very well-paying job where there was a lot of room for growth within the company. Like I had a really good path laid out before me had I chosen to stick with that particular career. So that was a little bit hard to walk away from for me. But my husband, when I told him what I really felt God was laying on my heart, was 100% supportive. Both of us went into it thinking, okay, we're not really sure what it's going to be like to go from 2 incomes to 1, and we've never tried to homeschool our kids. So it was a really big adjustment for our family, but he was nothing but supportive the entire time, and that has made all the difference in the world. Okay, so the third question says, why do you think homemaking is so important? And this one is a little bit, for me, personal to answer, and so I'll try to keep it brief. I'm not going to go into a really long spiel about why I think it's so important, but I will tell you guys that I believe that the home is where families go to reconnect, to be rejuvenated, to rest, and just to find a place that is a haven for them, if that makes sense. And so I believe that my job as a homemaker, my primary job is to make our home a comfortable and inviting space that my family will genuinely enjoy being in, and that they can come and do all of those things. They can rest and they can rejuvenate and they can just enjoy being there. I know I already said that, but really and truthfully, I just think it's so important because when we go out into the world, when we leave the confines of our home, we have no control over the things that we hear and say, or not say. Hopefully we have control over what we say, but hear and see. And it can be a stressful place. The outside world can be a really, really stressful environment. It can cause a lot of anxiety. And so I really enjoy having the opportunity to make our home be as warm and inviting and cozy and just full of love as I possibly can. So the next question says, how do you think your family would function if you went back to work? Honestly, it would be a bit of a transition for us. It would be a little bit difficult for a couple of my kids. So from the time that Grant was about just a little over 2, he has been at home with me every single day. And Kyler, who is 3.5, has never known anything different as far as she's always been with me. And so for the 2 of them, it would probably be difficult. My 2 oldest girls were public school students before we decided to homeschool, and they are older, they're teenagers, and so I'm sure that they would fare just fine. My husband, he would be fine. You know, you do what you have to do in situations like that. I don't plan on going back to work unless my family needs me to go back to work. I really feel like this is my calling right now at this season in my life. But if it were necessary for my family, I absolutely would go back to work, and we would make it work. You know, we would figure it out as we went along. Okay, so the next question says, what were some things that you had to sacrifice in order to stay home with your family? And I think that this answer is gonna be pretty much the same for a lot of moms across the board. You know, I had to sacrifice, we obviously as a family had to sacrifice being a 2-income family, and we are a 1-income family. Now, I do have a very small amount of income coming from some side hustles, if you want to call it that, but it's very, very minimal. It's not much. It's definitely not enough to support my family. But that was a big sacrifice for us, and it was one that we knew going in that was going to be difficult, and so we planned for it. What sacrifices? You know, I guess a little bit, when you decide to be a homemaker or a stay-at-home mom, you know that you're kind of sacrificing adult time. You don't go to work and see friends and coworkers and, you know, have that adult interaction every single day, all day. And so that is also a sacrifice. It's a little bit difficult. And I will say that when I worked outside of the home, I didn't feel like I was on call 24/7. There were times when I was at my place of work that I didn't feel like I was in mommy mode. And so I actually do feel like it's been quite a sacrifice for me to basically accept a position where I'm on call 24/7 all the time. I mean, I never really am not at work, if that makes sense. So, you know, there are some sacrifices that we have had to make, but all in all, I think that my husband and I would both agree that they're worth it. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. So the last question says, any advice you can give to women wanting to become homemakers? And to be very honest, probably my #1 piece of advice would be to find other women in your circle who are doing the same thing, who have been doing it for a while. Don't necessarily seek the counsel of someone who's been a homemaker for 1 year, because there are a lot of things that she is still learning herself. Even a woman who has been a homemaker for 10 years or 15 or 20 years is still learning, but they have a lot more wisdom under their belt by that time, and they can give you so much help and counsel and knowledge and wisdom and just comfort and advice. They can really truly be a just invaluable part of this process for you. So I would highly, highly recommend for any woman who is thinking about becoming a homemaker, whether you're a brand new wife or you were previously in the workplace and you want to leave the workplace and stay at home, find someone who has been where you want to be and pick their brain. You know, ask for what are the ups and the downs, what are the goods and the bads, what can I look forward to, what is really going to be kind of a struggle, and just really soak in everything that they have to offer. Because while everyone's situation is not identical, I can promise you that women who have been at this for a long time, they've seen a whole lot of different situations and can help out a whole lot. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed hearing just a little bit more about why I decided to become a homemaker and kind of my thoughts thoughts on the entire journey. I will again have Michelle's channel linked down below for you guys, as well as a playlist if there is one available. I can't really remember. But until next time, you guys, I hope that you are all doing very, very well and that you're very blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.